one mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Hump Day.
It is Hump Day. And it is the One Mic with Big Mike show here live right now on Spreaker.com. You can also hear the show live on the Spreaker app. Go to your app store and download it. Tune in. And of course, the website One Mic with BigMike.com. You can also check me out streaming live video on my Facebook page. It is at the number one MIC WITHBIGMIKE. If you want to get in contact with me during the show, you want to share your thoughts, you want to ask me some questions, whatever you want to do, you can leave your comments and questions and whatever else below the streaming video on Facebook, or you can text them to 404-902-8104. You can even call that number if you want to and leave a message. So somebody left me a message yesterday. I can't play it today, but I'll play it on Friday because they left their phone number. It's a crazy message. Sound like they was drunk or whatever, but you know, whatever. You leave a message, I'll play it on the show. That's just how it goes. You can also jump inside my live and interactive chat room here on Spreaker, Spreaker, or the Spreaker app. It's available in all your app stores. All you got to do is while you're listening on the streaming player, you'll see a little thought bubble icon. Just click on that. It'll get you in the live interactive chat room where you can talk and interact with me, interact with other listeners, and so forth and so on. It is also, by the way, a Woman Crush Wednesday here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. So shout out to _the BLEU. So it's out of the blue, but spelled a little differently. Out of _ THEBLEU. Shout out to her. She's our Woman Crush Wednesday for the day. So y'all can go and give her some likes and say what up or whatever. Don't be creepy. Just, say what up. So the photo is also available on my Facebook page at the number one MIC WITHBIGMIKE. All right. Moving along. No guest tonight. So the bottom of the hour, you'll hear my daily feature on this day where I take you guys back into the history of sports and give you guys some factoids and tidbits and whatnot. Tonight, we got to talk about the NBA playoffs, right? Well, what's left of them. It's like a bunch of carnage going on right now. I mean, I guess we'll see tonight. We'll see. Game one of the Eastern Conference Finals starts tonight. Celtics and, of course, hold on. I was wondering why I was feeding back. I left my damn speakers on. Celtics and the Cavs start their series tonight. No one's giving the Celtics much of a chance in the series, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you. We've seen this before, and I'll talk about it here coming up. We got to talk some football today as well. The NFL season never ends. I want to talk to you guys about the running back market and how the position and the value of the position is pretty much dead. And if you heard my interview on Monday with Dave Zirin from The Nation, a guy who sat down a couple weeks ago with Colin Kaepernick at one of his Know Your Rights camps, we were talking about where Colin Kaepernick could possibly land if he lands somewhere. And Pete Carroll came out and talked about he spoke about showing some interest in Colin Kaepernick as well as Robert Griffin III. And Michael Bennett, who's been a proponent of Colin Kaepernick, he spoke out and said it'd be a perfect place for Colin Kaepernick. So I want to kind of dive into that a little bit and kind of extrapolate some things out of that, as well as Aaron Hernandez. That story continues. Speaking of a story that continues, based on what happened yesterday in the NBA draft lottery, your man LeVar Ball, he's back in the news and he's being like crazy, disrespectful, and it's just like, all right, my man, you know what I mean? Like all the bombastic stuff and all the, the over the top antics that my man comes with. I'm all right. I'm good with that, man. But I'm really not the dude that is going to ever really co-sign on somebody just being disrespectful to another person, unless, if they giving it, if the other person is giving it, of course they deserve to get it. That goes without saying. But just being just an a-hole for the sake of being an a-hole, ain't a real cool move, man. So I'll talk about him. I'll kind of rip into that a little bit here as the show moves on. Shout out to everybody checking us out on Facebook right now. The homie Clay Hover, what up, homie? So let's start. Let me figure out where to start. See, it's that kind of day, you know what I mean, where I just sit down and say, let things come out of my mouth. Let's start with the Warriors-Spurs series. That's now 2-0 in favor of the Warriors. We all know about the comeback in game one. 25 points down, came back in the third quarter to win the game by 2 points. Needless to say, if you're someone who has this game on DVR and you stayed away from ESPN or other human beings for the entire day, yeah, it wasn't that close. 36-point victory. What was it, 136 to 100? And they called the dogs off. I left probably halfway through the third quarter. I was like Steph and the rest of them boys. I was like, I'm out. I see where this is heading, and I'm good. You guys know my rule about watching bad sports. I don't know that I saw it going like that just because Kawhi Leonard wasn't there. And then also you got to throw in, of course, Tony Parker wasn't there either. He ruptured his thigh in the Houston series, but damn, you know what I mean? I guess I find myself getting caught up in the mystique, in the Spurs mystique, and the mystique of Popovich and so forth and so on. But yeah, the Warriors gave no F's about any of that. I mean, they came out there to kick some ass. Like Draymond couldn't miss early. Steph, man, hey, look, I think it's time, man, for us, for everybody who thought otherwise about last year's playoff run, that everybody just making excuses for Steph Curry. Nah, that dude wasn't right. You know what I mean? Because you see, like when Steph is right, it's a beautiful thing to watch. Like that's the only thing that kept me in that game, to be honest with you, for as long as I did. Like guys like Steph and KD and the way they're able to get buckets, I'm always gonna be a fan of that. It's just like at a certain point, it's like, all right, like I'm the dude that in the grocery store, I'll laugh at your kid getting an ass whooping, but like you can't just start going like ham on the kid, because then at a certain point it gets like uncomfortable. And that's what happened in this game. It's like, all right, it's fun. They're going up and down the court, shooting threes and dunking, and they playing hella good defense. But then like it turned into like a real ass kicking, and it's like I can't, in good conscience, just sit back and watch this. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a Warriors fan, I'm not a Spurs fan, I'm just a fan of basketball. And like with any other game, if it starts getting, if it turns into a turd, I kind of got to bounce. You know what I mean? I got to be out this joint. What else came out of this game? LaMarcus Aldridge. He was there allegedly. And a lot of people are giving LaMarcus Aldridge a bunch of flack, man, because if you guys remember, a couple of years ago, he was the free agent pickup. He was the guy that everybody wanted. The Lakers wanted him. The Spurs wanted him. A bunch of teams wanted LaMarcus Aldridge because he was going to be the heir apparent to a Hall of Famer and Tim Duncan. It's going to be him and Kawhi, and they was going to take the Spurs to that next level once the phase out of Tim and Tony and Manu, once that started happening. And so far, man, when it counts the most, what they say, when the brights are lightest, that's not the saying. When the lights are brightest. Yeah, well, man, he just didn't show up, man. And it was clearly evident. I think he got his first field goal, starting game 1 for 5, and got his first field goal. Even Coach Popovich talked about it in the post game, how he don't get paid to turn down shots, especially when there's no one else there to take shots. I mean, of course, you got Patty Mills and Danny Green, and that kid Simmons. He's like, he's just like, whatever. I'm gonna come out here and play ball. I don't care what the rest of y'all do. I'm gonna play ball, and Pop actually acknowledged that fact as well. The Warriors might be getting Steve Kerr back, so that's a good look for them. And I'm not one of those people who don't feel like it makes a difference. I think he makes a difference. I think at this point, they can get past a Kawhi Leonard less Spurs team. They can get by a Utah team, but Steve Kerr is going to earn his medal when adjustments have to be made in the NBA Finals. And I'm just going to anticipate, barring anything catastrophic, that it'll be again the Warriors and the Cavaliers, and that's when you're going to need to see Steve Kerr, be the coach that he is, not do anything extra special, but just be who he is. He's going to be able to fly with the team on Thursday. The next game until Saturday. So I think on Thursday, they're leaving the Bay and going out to San Antonio. He'll be able to fly out there with them. He won't be back on the bench yet, but, he'll be like he was in game one. He'll be able to give them adjustment points and things of that nature at halftime because he'll be in the building. Another note from this game, Zaza Pachulia, he left the game after like 10 minutes of playing time. He's got to have an x-ray done on his heel. Don't know how serious. I haven't heard any information on it as of yet, but, I know a lot of y'all probably like, see, that's karma right there. If you believe what he did was intentional, I don't believe it. And that doesn't mean I don't believe Zaza's a dirty player. I think those two things are mutually exclusive of one another. You know what I mean? Like, the dude can be clumsy as hell and just be like this big ogre of a human being, and you pair that with a dude who's already got a bad will, it's a recipe for bad things to happen. Last night, LaMarcus Aldridge closed out on Kevin Durant. Looked a whole lot more suspicious than what we saw from Zaza on Kawhi. But the only difference is the star player didn't get injured in the situation last night. He came down on his foot, by the way, right? He just didn't roll the ankle over and hurt himself, because had he done that, it'd have been a couple of different storylines happening today. Even after Kevin Durant was like, nah, he gave the best explanation. He gave the same explanation I gave on Monday. That these big ass dudes playing out on the perimeter, come on, man, that's not their game. Closing out on shooters and all that. They big lumbering, like trees of human beings. Ain't nobody getting that, and everybody's all up in their own heads. They've got to do something to change that. Wow, one guy got hurt. The players are taking care of each other. They're self-policing. So you're going to change the rule because you think, because Zaza's a dirty player, so that must mean he did something dirty. Now you feel like he should be thrown out of a game if something so normal happens. Yeah, like Michael Wilbon, these guys, they got to quit with the foolishness. You can't overreact to every single thing that happens on a basketball court or a football field or any of these places. Because guess what? Things happen no matter how much you want to protect players. And let's keep it real. No one's throwing up their hands if this is not the Simmons. They got another kid on that bench that's old as hell, like an old rookie, I think, right? Or was last year. Whatever that kid's name is, if it happens to him, nobody really cares. But it just happened to happen to Kawhi, who was already, like I said earlier, on the bum wheel. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here live on Spreaker.com. You can also get me on the Spreaker app if you choose to download that situation from the App Store, either one, Apple or Android. You can hear it live on TuneIn and, of course, One Mic with BigMike.com. The video is streaming live right now on Facebook at the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE. And make sure you text me your thoughts and questions or whatever at 404-902-8104. You can also leave them below the streaming video on Facebook or jump inside my live and interactive chat room here on Spreaker. All you got to do is, if you're listening via Spreaker or if you're listening via my website, just click the little thought bubble icon. It'll get you all up in here with me. And you can also be sure to click the little heart icon as well to indicate that you like the show, and the share icons as well, so that your friends know what you're listening to and they can join you. We can all have a damn party here. I wonder where Reggie is. I spoke with Reggie earlier, my intern Reggie. I'm looking at my feed here. I don't see any sharing going on. Me sharing with you guys. Anyway, we'll put the APB out on Reggie or whatever. All right, so tonight, Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals. It's going to be tough, man. I saw a stat earlier today about LeBron coming off of, like, major rest, and it's not good. He's got by far, the highest efficiency rating ever. Like, I think the max, or not the max, the highest until LeBron is, like, 31, and he's at, like, 42. And, like, most people, like, a good player efficiency rating is somewhere around 15 to 16. I'll say it again. He's at 42. Yeah, good luck, Celtics. I mean, y'all did the most business you're going to do in the next month, probably yesterday, with that draft lottery, which I'll get to here in just a second. So, yeah, LeBron's going to take his guys, him, Kyrie, Kevin Love, Tristan, Fry and them cats, JR, Mon Shumpert, they gonna all head to Boston, which sounds funny. You know what I mean? Like when I heard it earlier today, I was like, somebody messed up. And you forget that the Boston squad is the number 1 seed. Now, let's talk about that though, because they gained that number 1 seed with the lowest win total, I think, in the history of the Eastern Conference. So it's kind of like that year, you know, the Hawks got the number 1 seed, but really and truly, the Cavs were the number 1 seed. It didn't make any difference. Like, they'll win this game tonight, and guess what? Home court advantage means nothing anymore. I don't think it means anything going into the game, an hour away from the game. I don't think it means anything, but officially, all that, number 1 seed stuff is going to go out the window today because of that guy, that android named LeBron. The other thing that's going to be real crazy to see in this, because at some point I believe LeBron's going to end up on Isaiah Thomas, and the only thing I can harken back to is the Derrick Rose. I think it was the MVP year when they met the Cavs in the playoffs, and how when you watch in the fourth quarter, LeBron, a younger LeBron, but, from everybody else's accounts, that dude is getting better. It don't even seem fair. Like, he's getting better at basketball the more he plays it, with all the mileage and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, just to watch him just swallow up Derrick Rose, man, in those fourth quarters a few years back, man, I could totally see that happening to Isaiah Thomas today. I mean, not today. Well, yeah, tonight and going forward. Like, Kyrie will play him. They'll probably throw JR on him a little bit. Who's their backup point guard? Now, I thought it feels like LeBron is their backup point guard, but who's the Darren Williams. So Darren Williams will have his shot as well. And then in the fourth quarter, if this dude think he's going to go off because they at home and he start pointing to his wrist, talking about it's time, yeah, it's going to be time, all right. They're going to put that big, monstrous human being, the highest jumping, fastest running, most athletic dude on the court, will probably be on number 4 in the fourth quarter, and it's going to be lights out. Ain't nothing there. I mean, I don't know. I don't do predictions on my show, but I don't run away from the obvious either. Shout out to the Celtics. They got the number 1 seed. They're in that process of moving forward. But as long as LeBron James is that roadblock in the East, it's gonna be tough. Especially the new CBA is kind of discouraging. What y'all call super teams. That's being discouraged based on the money that's available for guys to stay with their current team. So your chances of dethroning the king, if I say that cornily enough, is that a word? Corny enough? It lies in Golden State. Just because they got so much firepower and they're so sound defensively. That doesn't exist in the Eastern Conference. It doesn't exist anywhere else in the Western Conference. It's really a 2-horse race at this point. And yeah, we can get there as soon as we can, to be honest with you. Like, if everybody just want to go 4-4-4, shout out to Moses Malone. Got a story on him later on. That was Moses that said that, right? 4-4-4. If everybody just want to do that, I'm usually not a fan of the NBA season ending earlier than it should. But at this rate, come on, man. How many more of those Golden State games you really want to watch? We'll find out about this Celtics Cavs series tonight. You know what I'm saying? See if the Celtics can take advantage of a little bit of Cavalier rust or whatnot. But if not, you got to ask yourself the same question: like, how many games that you want to watch? Not too many. Isaiah's been on a great run. Avery Bradley's played well. They're gonna try to put Jay Crowder or Kelly Olynyk or somebody. They're gonna try to mix up the coverages on LeBron, and it's gonna look mad stupid, man. It's gonna look so crazy, man, to watch Kelly Olynyk, who had, by the way, in the game 7 against the damn Wizards. If you had Kelly Olynyk in some sort of pool, first of all, give me the winning lotto numbers. But your man had the game of his life. I don't anticipate Kelly Olynyk leading this team past LeBron James. I don't see that happening. You know what I mean? There's Reggie. See, we put out the bat signal. Reggie shows up. What up, Reg? Reggie was supposed to call me earlier too, man. Just diss me. Just hates me so much. Golly. And also, speaking of Kelly Olynyk, this is the I know I say his name now, Olynyk. I just keep saying it. Speaking of Kelly Olynyk, he and Kevin Love get to see each other again in the playoff series. The last time these guys saw each other, Kelly Olynyk put that Ronda Rousey on his ass, that armbar on his ass, to snatch that joint out the socket. Another play that a lot of people, we were on this was that long ago. We were on the radio at this time when that happened. That was that long ago. Wow. A lot of people, want to say that was intentional. He snatched, my man Rob Calloway told me that he snatched his arm out on purpose. I'm like, I don't think you do that on purpose. Now, yeah, he was holding him back from getting a loose ball. If you don't remember the situation that happened, Kelly Olynyk and Kevin Love were going after a loose ball. This couldn't have been a couple of years ago, because this was the same. Anyway, whatever. Kevin Love's arm ended up coming out the socket, and he couldn't play no more basketball for the rest of the postseason, and that's just how that ended up. It was the first year of the quote-unquote Big Three. It seemed like it was so much longer ago because of what I had going on, but it was only like 2 seasons ago or whatnot. So, yeah. The thing that you won't see tonight in this Cavs game against the Celtics, you won't see any advertisements on the jersey. You say, duh, right? But the reason I bring that up is because next year, the Cavs have signed a deal with Goodyear. I don't know if you guys remember this, but the NBA had made it possible for teams to earn additional revenue through jersey advertising. They're going to have a 2.5 by 2.5 inch logo of a company of their choosing on the jersey. And the Cavs are going to go with the Akron-based Goodyear on their jerseys. A lot of people not really feeling this. I don't care personally, because I think it's one of those things that will become invisible. Like, they'll talk about it the first time we see some on some jerseys. They'll talk about it. The announcers, I mean, and ESPN and all these people talk about it, and then everybody be like, man, they just so damn greedy and blah, 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 blah. But then inevitably it'll become norm. That's what happens. We adapt to things, especially things that don't affect the game at all. People are going to make a big deal of it because that's what we do now. Everybody thinks that everything has to be made into a big deal until it's not, until the next thing comes. And this will be no different. People will start talking. I heard Rachel Nichols, who I really enjoy that show, The Jump, man. I think she does a wonderful job on that show. But I heard her talking about, I really don't like that. And I'm like, come on, Ma. Like, what difference is it going to end up making? We're talking 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares. Yeah, it's gonna be all right. The tire company was founded and headquartered in Akron, Ohio. Of course, that's where LeBron James is from. They signed a multi-year deal to be on the team's jersey. The wing foot is what the logo is. Will always be yellow on the jersey, but it will have a blue outline on the white jersey and a yellow outline on the white jersey, so that it stands out and you can see it, because again, it's only 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. I guess it's going to be worth $7 million to $10 million a year. Shout out to them. Dan Gilbert got to get some of that damn luxury tax money back. LeBron spending all this dude money. He got to pimp out the jerseys to get the money back. He's spending like 30-something million on Channing Frye. He got two dudes under the luxury tax. Who was it? Who was the two guys who didn't even play? Like, one played like 10 seconds and the other one didn't play at all. God, LeBron is over there. He's running roughshod. He's like Clifton Powell on Dead Presidents. I mean, just throwing Dan Gilbert ass down the stairs and putting a gun in his mouth. Jesus Christ. How much time I got? Oh, I got time to get into this LeVar Ball situation. So yesterday, and we might pick it up a little bit on the other side of the break as well. So yesterday, the NBA draft lottery took place. The Celtics, I think I mentioned this briefly. The Celtics, they pick up the number 1 overall pick. Let me see if I can find the actual order here. The Celtics went number 1. Then who you got? The Lakers, and then the Sixers. The Knicks are somewhere around 8. The Sacramento Kings, I think, are number 10. I'm doing this off the top of my head because I can't find the article that I saw here with the with the actual order. Either way, doesn't matter. The only thing I want to talk about right now, the Celtics, Danny Ainge and them boys pulled off a freaking coup. That leaves the Lakers at number 2. And because the Lakers are at number 2, your man LeVar Ball back in the news today, because he's trying to act like he's Negro Dominus. He predicted it. He's predicted his son going to the Lakers. He spoke it into existence and all this ridiculous. They showed video of Lonzo celebrating with, I guess, his brothers and his buddies, because the Lakers got the second pick, and they're already anticipating the kid from Washington going number 1, Fultz. But LeVar couldn't keep his mouth shut. He out here talking about this kid ain't ready for L.A. You know, he got to go to Boston. This dude is just wants to keep his sons under his arm. And the reality is this: like, for everybody that wants to tell me about, you know, he's a dad that's present. Here's the deal: at some point, man, your son is going to become a grown man. He's a grown man now, but he's going to be a man. He's going to have his own money, his own bills, and all this. He's not going to be your problem no more. And it worries me that it feels like this dude is fearful of his son experiencing something outside of him. You know what I mean? That's why I hope the Lakers trade the pick. Yeah. I mean, they got to pick. I think their pick next year is safe as well. If I'm not mistaken, I got to get somebody on here. I got to get my man Jovan on Friday to talk about this, to give us all the details. But the Lakers don't necessarily have to keep that pick. They got a dude in Indiana named Paul George, who's pretty damn good, probably one of the best threes in the league. He could also play the 4 if pushed to, and probably dominate. A lot of people feel like Paul George at the 4 is game over for everybody except the android that'll be playing tonight. He's an LA kid, and he hadn't been shy at all about his desire to want to go home and play in LA. And why not? I mean, other than the fact that the Lakers suck, but the Lakers got a bunch of pieces. They got D'Angelo Russell, they got Jordan Clarkson, they got Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram, who they just drafted, Larry Nance Jr. They got a bunch of young talent that they could, you know, if Larry Bird was still out there in Indiana, Magic could pull off a little something real quick. I don't think it's out of the question yet, only because Paul George is in the last year of his contract. And if they feel like he's gonna leave anyway, they gotta unload that dude, man. They gotta find a trade partner. And the Lakers seem to be in prime position to do it. The Lakers also got to give Paul George a reason to want to stay in LA. Like, he can't get out there like Dwight Howard, thinking it's one thing and it turns out to be another one. Now, of course, there is no Kobe Bryant out there. You don't know who else is going to be there with him. I really like Jordan Clarkson. I think Jordan Clarkson's the best player on that team. I think with guys like D'Angelo Russell out there, he takes up a lot of the air in the room because he's such a bombastic personality. But I think I like Jordan Clarkson's game immensely, and I think Swaggy P is going to be gone now. I think he's entering free agency, so there'll be a move to be made, and you can ask yourself the question: you want the college kid with all the upside, or the proven commodity in Paul George? Paul George is what? What's Paul George? 27 years old, so he's on the right side. Yeah, 27 years old. He's on the right side of 30. In a West that seems to be ever changing as far as the after you get past the top, let's call it 2 or 3. You know what I mean? The Clippers is going to be in a little bit of flux. We don't know what Gordon Hayward's going to do out there in Utah. That's going to be a big piece moving. If he ends up going to the Celtics, which has been, you know, bandied about, that's going to be crazy. We don't know what Boogie's going to do with the Pelicans, or Drew Holiday is going to do with the Pelicans either. You know what I mean? It's going to be a very malleable situation out west. And if Paul George is like the rest of these cats, like not DeMar DeRozan, I'm sorry, like Kyle Lowry, it's just like, I need to get the hell away from LeBron. You know what I mean? Like, I'll deal with Steph and KD and Clay and them. I'll deal with them. I need to get away from LeBron, like, immediately. If he's on that, man, that Lonzo Ball thing isn't going to be a guarantee. I'll come back with more on LeVar Ball, because we got to talk about his shoe situation and the ball brand, big ball brand, and all the kind of stuff, and the disrespectful thing that he decided he was going to do today. That was, in my opinion, like, man, uncalled for, man. So we'll do that next, man. We'll do that after we do On This Day. right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. It's a hump day, Women Crush Wednesday, all that good stuff here on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, tune in, and of course, One Mic with BigMike.com. I'll be right back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jason Derulo. I love that music connects to people all over the country. But unfortunately, so does something else. Childhood hunger. 15 million kids struggle with hunger right here in America. And yet, every year, billions of pounds of surplus food in the U.S. go to waste instead of going to the children in need. Feeding America is working to change this. The Feeding America nationwide network of food banks rescues this surplus of food to help provide meals to families in virtually every community in the United States, including yours. But they just can't do this alone. Join me in the fight against hunger in America. For more information on what you can do to get involved, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America. A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
with Big Mike.
Back here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Welcome back.
Somebody should have told me it would be like this.
I gotta talk to you guys about the end of an era. The end of a very, very, very long run, and it has nothing to do with sports. No sports team, none of that stuff. I want to talk to you guys about the name, Michael. My name. Apparently it's at risk of dying out. Yeah, the name is at its lowest level of popularity since World War II. Michael, the name, is facing extinction as a name in the U.S., with newly released figures showing it was given to less than 14,000 baby boys last year, the lowest on record since 1940. During the 20th century, it topped the list of boys' names for 43 out of 44 years. Shout out to me and my moms. The longest reign for males in the 20th century. Parents seem to be now seeking individual names for their children. That's what they say has led to the decline. All right, man, y'all want to be all creative with these damn names when your kid can't get no damn job because the person that's calling them for the interview can't recognize the damn name. You gonna understand that Michael was a good, solid choice. It was the 9th most popular male name in the 1940s, given to 300,556 kids. The first during that time was James with 700,095 plus, and Mary with the girls with over 640,000. Now these cats are naming their kids Kylo. Apparently that's a damn Star Wars villain or something. Y'all gonna learn, man. Y'all gonna learn. Sleeping on Mike and Michael. Once again, shout out to my mom. Let's take a look back.
Now, let's take a look back.
On this day.
All right, moving on here. Get out of my feelings real quick. On this day in 1953, the New York Yankees and the Cleveland Indians set a record when they used 41 players in a game. Games was too damn long back in the day, feel like, man. It was like, these cats just go home. I think I heard something the other day about them maybe reintroducing the tie to baseball. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. At all. On this day in 1969, which was a very good year according to Joe, Baltimore, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh agreed to move from the NFL's NFC to the AFC. On this day in 1970, shout to the Hammer. Hammer and Hank Aaron became the 9th player to get 3,000 hits. And then finally, on this day in 1987, Eric Sleepy Floyd of the Golden State Warriors. He set a playoff record for points in a single quarter with 29. Yeah, like KD and Steph just heard that. It was like, all right, bet, challenge accepted. Let's go. Now getting back to this LeVar Ball situation. And by the way, if you want to chime in, do so at 404-902-8104. Send your text there or jump on in my live interactive chat room. Do so by listening to me on Spreaker or on my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. Click on the little thought bubble icon you see on the streaming player. Boom, you're in the building. You can also leave comments and questions and so forth below my streaming video that's going on right now on my Facebook page, which is at the number 1 MICWITHBIG MIKE. Leave your comments and all those good things. Make sure you like some of the stuff on my page. You can even post to the page. Have fun, man. Getting back to LeVar Ball, though. So his son he's anticipating that his son is going number 2 overall to the Los Angeles Lakers, his hometown. They live in Chino Hills. His kids play in Chino Hills. The kid Lonzo, he actually played, and he played at UCLA. And now the dream scenario is that he ends up with the Lakers. And I mentioned in the last segment that it's not a done deal. You know, the Lakers have pieces to where they can actually go acquire a real ass all-star, another guy who's from LA and who wants to be there. You dig? So the Lonzo Ball thing is cute. You know what I'm saying? But if his ass end up in Indiana, yeah, I'll be good with it. You know what I mean? I want to see this dude like just be a man away from his pops, and you know what I mean, away from that huge shadow that his pops are now cast over him and the other 2 boys. I am Nodo's in the building. What up? Yeah, this is 2 for this week. And remind me in the last segment, man, to tell you guys about my week last week. I mean, if you care, remind me. If not, we'll just move on as though nothing happened last week. You know what I mean? Like I don't care to share if I don't have to. You know what I mean? This ain't therapy corner. But if y'all nosy bastards want to know why I didn't do but one show last week, I'll let it ride. Where was I? Okay, so LeVar Ball. I don't know if this was today or not. But Shadu was on Colin Cowherd's show. And Colin Cowherd, if you guys have never seen his show, he has she's not his co-host. I don't know. She's like his sidekick, I guess. This blonde chick named Christine Leahy. And for whatever reason, well, I know why, because like Cowherd is such a numbers whore, man. Golly, that's why I think that's why I stopped looking at the show, because he just says anything that he thinks will get idiots riled up. And like, whatever, that's cool, man. But I just don't. It's like the same deal with like Stephen A. Smith and all that kind of stuff. I don't indulge in it because they're not talking to me. I mean, like I don't get off on that. I don't get off on arguing back and forth with my TV or none of that stuff y'all weirdos be doing. Posting, Cowherd just said, whatever. But this caught my eye during my reading, because LeVar Ball is the doo-doo that I've stepped in, and now I have to walk in it for a couple of steps now, because I chose to talk about it with the shoe thing and all that. Now I have to advance the story. That's part of the professional nature of what I do here, is to advance the story. So anyway, he's on with Colin Cowherd, and he just was like real stupid, like disrespectful to the girl that works there, and like, boo to Colin Cowherd, man, because he ain't even try to like you can't. I don't care how number starved you are, you can't let somebody come in your crib, man, and just disrespect your fam like that. Like that's his people. LeVar ain't here every day. She is, man. She's here with you every day. Now I'm not a fan of hers at all. I don't think she brings anything but a pretty face to that show, to be honest with you. I think she also hosts American Ninja Warriors as well. Like I've seen that a couple of times. I think that's bananas. Like I don't know when it comes on, but like if I'm flipping through and I see it, I'll stop and check that out, because I think that show is like crazy as hell. But I don't think she brings anything to the show that she's on with him, and I don't know if that's like part of the role and she's not supposed to or whatever. But it's kind of whack. But that doesn't mean she needs to be disrespected either. So while she's on the show, her name is Christine Leahy or whatever. She asked LeVar Ball how many pairs of the shoes that he sold, right? That's the question, because everybody is making up these numbers on the internet and they coming from somewhere, but nobody knows where. And some people have the actual numbers. They say some don't. This guy is supposed to. He should have the actual numbers. If you guys remember, I read another interview that he did on the same station, Fox Sports, with Skip and Shannon. And he's asked the same question. Skip asking the same question. He just pulled a number out of his ass. He's like, I'm gonna say $4.95. You mean the same price as the shoe? That's ironic. You sold the same amount of shoes as the shoe costs. All right, bet. That's cool. So anyway, as a journalist should do, you hit him with the question again, because that was like 2 weeks ago. So let's hit him with the question again. So she hits him with it. And my man, like on some real like whack stuff, says, quote, "Stay in your lane." He put his hand up to her, like, you know, like talk to the hand type thing. He goes on to say, "I don't even worry about her over there." He can't even call her by name. And then he decides to finally answer the question. But first he has to say, "I don't even look over there because she scares me. Leave me alone." I'll tell you, 500 pair. All right, let's talk about this now. You just heard what I said about what he told Skip last week or 2 weeks ago. He said $4.95 2 weeks ago. You mean 2 weeks you sold 5 more pair of shoes? And really, either you sold 5 more pair of shoes or you had to give 95 refunds, because there's a lot of numbers between 4 and 500. And if you are the guy who's like, I priced the shoe because that's what I want to price it at. If you're that guy, you want me to believe that you got all this control and you the big baller, you know, you're the face and the mind and the body behind Big Baller Brand. How don't you know exactly? How don't you know exactly, up to the minute that you step on to that set that they have? How don't you know exactly how many shoes you sold? I mean, if it's your money, you would know this, right? Apparently not. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. This dude is a con man that just happens to have a crazy talented basketball player of a son. He himself, though, is a freaking con man, and you fooling yourself. I don't care what Magic said. I don't care what whatever other GM said, that his dad won't play a part in whether a team decides to draft him or not. That's bull. I understand why you don't want to say that, because you don't want to find yourself in headlines either. You don't want this kid to end up panning out in 5 years and you passed on him because of his dad. You end up looking crazy and because you said that's why you would do it. No, I understand that. But the reality is, man, from what I know, and shout out to my man Deshaun Tate. I'm going to talk to him as well probably about these college kids. As far as what I'm hearing, there's a group of guys, the kid from Kentucky, the kid from Kansas, who, by the way, shout out to him, because guess what's not happening that would have happened if he was an NFL prospect? That thing that he had when he bashed that girl's car up because I guess she threw a drink on him or something, and the girl got suspended, but he didn't. Like that. And I think he had another legal situation while he was at Kansas as well. And for whatever reason, man, the freaking NBA doesn't care. And you guys don't either, because no one's bringing it up. And I ain't mad at it. Like, get your money, young man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happened. It's over. Me harping on it today won't make it any different. And he can play ball. You know, what's his name? Jackson, the kid from Kansas. So you got him, wing player. You got the kid from Kentucky. You got the kid from Washington. You got, of course, Lonzo Ball. You got a couple guys who, for what I'm hearing, are in a kind of a tight group that you could be all right picking any of them. The reality is, the numbers say, and the way they bear out, is that a good number of these guys, they won't make it, or they won't be what you think they're going to be. I got a list here. I know how y'all love lists. The last 10 teams to win the NBA draft lottery and who they picked. Let's go. In 2006, the Toronto Raptors picked Andre Bargnani. Yeah. Ain't he a Knick now? Where is he playing now? With the Knicks? In 2007, shout out to the homie, man. Greg Oden, the number 1 overall pick from the Portland Trail Blazers. My man's, his body just betrayed him, man. He couldn't figure it out. And you know what I was thinking about yesterday while I was watching the draft lottery? Like, Greg Oden played this thing totally to the left. Like, Greg Oden should have been Joel Embiid, because we don't know what Joel Embiid is going to do. He been hurt since the time he got he got hurt coming down the stretch at Kansas, and we saw a little bit of him. 30 games worth of him this year? But everybody loves him. He has so much fun, and he's shooting his shot with Rihanna and all this kind of stuff. And he may end up in the same damn boat as Greg Oden before it's all said and done. A dude who you thought was gonna have all this talent, but the thing he's gonna also leave the game with is people understanding who he is as a person, and probably people trying to market things through him even after he's done. If he flames out, Greg Oden just kind of fell to the wayside. He went and got him a championship real quick with the Heat, so shout out to them for that. But I think he's back in school too. I think he's back at Ohio State getting his degree, which again dispels the myth. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar been on TV for the last 2 weeks talking about how the one and dones are terrible. These kids, they should value an education. I'm like, dude, they don't blow the school up because a kid leaves. All this means is if a kid wants to go get an education, Cardell Jones did it. Now he got enough money to pay for it himself. You know what I mean? Anyway, in 2008, the Chicago Bulls took Derrick Rose. That, started out well. And then again, his body betrayed him. In 2009, Blake Griffin out of Oklahoma. Blake has had he's had a bell curve of a career, if I can say it that way. He started out, I remember calling him a manufactured superstar because people loved Blake Griffin. He was on the commercials, but really, initially he was just a dunker. But shout out to the kid, man. Every year, Blake Griffin's game, it transformed a little bit more and more every year to the point now. Blake, before he got hurt this year, another guy whose body's betraying him, before he got hurt this year, was stepping out to the three. I think he's shooting somewhere around 70% from three when his free throw percentage was in the 50s and 60s. So he's done a lot. Not a lot of winning. If you haven't noticed, you only heard me mention one championship throughout the name so far, and that was Greg Oden. Wow. Where'd Greg Oden go to school? Ohio State. Yeah, Ohio State, and KD went to Texas. Here we go. 2010. That boy Johnny Wall coming out of Kentucky. The boy who, again, back to the Colin Cowherd thing where your man was all on John Wall because he did the Dougie for 10 minutes in his first game. Only some stiff white boy would have a problem with that. You know what I mean? Kid having fun. He's having fun playing a game. How dare him? 2011. Here's another championship. Boy Kyrie Irving. They got the clip. I guess they got the Clippers pick. Wow, I didn't know that till just right now. I got it highlighted and I still didn't read it earlier. They got Kyrie on a deal with the Clippers. Kyrie's been an All-Star Game MVP. I think he's been a three-point shootout champion. Of course, he's an NBA champion up until last year, or as of last year. So that was a hell of a pick. But then it gets, no, not yet. 2012, the New Orleans Pelicans, they take Anthony Davis, who we're still waiting. He's another guy who's often hurt. And I always wonder about Anthony Davis. The thing I always wonder about him is his injury history because of how fast his body grew. I think Anthony Davis was I think he was under 6 feet coming out of high school. That was 2010. And by the time he got into the league in 2012, he was 6'11". You know what I'm saying? And that's a crazy ass growth spurt, and that's a lot of pressure on your joints. Because of course he's lifting weights, he's running and jumping. That's a lot of pressure on your joints and your body, and you still gotta, you gotta figure out how to move in that new body. It happens so quickly. But either way, hell of a pick. Anthony Davis, you don't really go wrong with that. He's one of the best young forward/centers in the league right now. Here's the pick of the litter. In 2013, the Cleveland Cavaliers took out of UNLV the one, the only Anthony Bennett, who is out of the freaking league right now. That was the worst first overall pick in the history of first overall picks. I don't even remember who came after him. I just remember this kid, no one. This is one of those I'm smarter than everybody else, Anthony, or David, what's his name? What's the damn, I said his name earlier, the owner of the Cavs. Whatever. Terrible pick. This guy got ruined. LeBron came in, got his ass shipped out of there. Him and Andrew Wiggins, who, 2014 was the first overall pick there. Andrew Wiggins is having a hell of a career, man. Only problem is he's playing in Minnesota and no one cares. He's up there, and also he's getting overshadowed by Karl Anthony Towns, who you can't really front on that. You know, Karl Anthony Towns is a hell of a ball player who, by the way, is the 2015 first overall pick. Back to back for them. Well, kind of back to back. You know, the Cavs took Andrew Wiggins and then traded him when LeBron came to town. I was like, I don't want to play with this young ass boy. Bring me Kevin Love so I can abuse him. And then in 2016, the guy who we haven't seen play ball yet, but another guy he grew like 2 inches since he got drafted. Ben Simmons, the forward out of LSU. I saw a workout video, him working out the other day. A kid looks like a monster. Like his body isn't as developed as let's say Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like he's a big cut up, long arm kid. This dude is still kind of like baby fattish a little bit. Ben Simmons, I mean, but like, man, to see him on the court, they got the 3rd overall pick this year. To see him, Joel Embiid on the court together. It seems like it'll be a special thing if it comes together right. Like I don't know if y'all heard your man Joel Embiid say it's all about timing it just right to when LeBron isn't good anymore, so we can just spring. We just spring, keep losing these games, and just spring one on LeBron and the boys, and then start doing our work. Then I don't know, you know, I don't know. I want to talk about something in the next segment. I want to talk football in the next segment, so I'm going to get out of this basketball talk here because I'm getting some comments on Facebook because of a post that I made. Because of a post that I made earlier about Devontae Freeman. And he's kind of the result of something, what's happening with him, I should say, is somewhat of a result of what's going on across the league with running backs. So I'll get into that after the top of the hour. But going back to LeVar Ball and his situation with these kids, my man Reggie's saying the numbers aren't real when it comes to his shoe. He's in the chat room, by the way. You guys can get there by clicking that little thought bubble on your streaming player if you're listening to me via Spreaker, SPREAKER.com, or the website onemicwithbigmike.com. He said those numbers aren't real. Small businesses. Oh, he's a small business trying to look like a larger business. Oh, yes, he is. Because he says when his son gets drafted by the Lakers, Big Baller Brand will be worth $3 billion. Here's the problem with that evaluation. This is why I wish, like, someone needs to sign him up for Shark Tank. So Damon John and the dude, Mr. Wonderful, and Mark Cuban can just roast his ass. You know, where are you getting these numbers from? What do you mean? Where am I getting them from? It's my company. I can say whatever numbers I want to. They'll just tear his ass to shreds behind that. Yeah, he's an idiot. You know how much $1 billion is? This is how I always tell people when we talk about money like that. It is 1,000 million. To put it into perspective, when you hear about the Forbes list that come out and Jay-Z is worth 300 million, you can have 3 Jay-Z's and not have $1 billion yet. LeVar Ball is saying that his little t-shirt company, because his son signs an NBA contract, will then become worth $3 billion. Y'all got to walk away, man. Y'all walk away from this dude, man. And while you walking away, keep your hand on your wallet. Please believe it. Because this dude ain't nothing but a con man. He ain't nothing but a loud. He's the dude that's going to do all the talking now and keep his fingers crossed that it comes through later. I got 500 orders of a $500 shoe that you got to wait 6 weeks to get. You know what I don't have to wait 6 weeks to get? Yeah, a pair of Jordans. I can order them today and they'll be here by the weekend. You know what I mean? And they won't be $500 either. What I do? I know those you and East Point made me pissing off the internet today, huh? Wait, ho. I pissed off the internet? Like the other day, my man Calloway told me that I was a troll. Well, he didn't tell me I was a troll. I told him I didn't know what one was, and he went to the Urban Dictionary and gave me the definition, and I kind of decided, like, wow, I guess I'm a troll. It had something to do with being a jerk or something like that, like something that I am. And I was like, yeah, I guess that fits. I didn't think I was, but I don't know. I think I am those that's talking about the same thing that I referred to a couple minutes ago with this Devontae Freeman thing. Yeah, and I'll get into it and I'll explain it in the next segment, and I'll put it into context. I'll put it into the context around what else is happening. You know, LeGarrette Blount just signed a deal today. 1 year. Have y'all seen Adrian Peterson's deal? Holy ish. Yeah, it's happening to these cats, dude. Like, no one gives a damn about your running back, man. No one cares. This ain't 1992, cuz. It's 2017. And the league rules tell you don't need no damn running back. Just go get a dude, put a 30-something number on them, and just tell them which hole to go to. And you'll be cool. You know what I mean? Is Reg still here? Reg? Is the video being shared, Reg? Because I want some of these people, especially the people in the sports schools, to hear this, because they need to understand that they need to understand what's happening. You know what I mean? Like what's going on with the business side of the sport that they love so much. What does that mean? Reggie's saying find a dozen for running back. I don't know what that means, Reggie. Like, you're talking to me in code. Find a dozen for running back. Where are we? It's like a special Illuminati code that Reggie's hitting me with, and I don't necessarily know. It's like, what's that movie with Tom Hanks? And they was talking about the Illuminati and dime a dozen. Yeah, he's right. I cracked the code. Dime a dozen for running backs. I'll take another vowel for 400, Alex, or Pat. So anyway, let me get back to my notes, because y'all got me on some other stuff. Couple things out of the NBA before I wrap up this segment real quick. How did I forget this? LeVar Ball is also guaranteeing that the Lakers make the playoffs in the West next year if they draft his son. Like, that's way too much, dude. You know what I mean? That's way too much sauce for this kid. Like, people are giving LeVar Ball a pass because of the way his kid is handling it so far. But here's the deal: he hadn't played not now NBA game yet against other grown men who gonna love to push it all the way in, not because of the kid, because he seemed to be as mild-mannered as possible, but because his dad, man. And I think I heard Michael Smith say this before I started the show today, that it doesn't matter. Like, did you not see this dude rail on his son's college teammates, blame them for losing, blame the coach? He got the high school coach fired. You don't think these people, these billionaire people who own these teams and these GMs ain't looking at that? Because what are people always talking about? Distractions, cancers in the locker room. Well, you can have a cancer outside of your locker room. He's Black Trump. You get this dude a medium, you give him a social media account. Watch how quick he'd be. Let's say he gets drafted by the Lakers. Watch how quick he is if D'Angelo Russell is starting over him in game one. How you think that's going to sit for the $3 billion evaluation baller brand? His son is coming off the bench to D'Angelo Russell. Better stop playing, man. Like, this is real deal. This ain't UCLA, where you didn't promise them the souls of your other two kids, so they have to treat your first boy good and ignore you. God, what a douchebag, man. And finally, I thought this story went away. This is the last thing for the NBA. I thought this story was gone, but Moses Malone Jr., I don't know if y'all remember this, but he got robbed at V-Live, the strip club. And apparently he's saying that James Harden put some goons up to doing it because Moses Malone Jr. came at James Harden wrong, talking about how he came at him wrong in James Harden's estimation because he was talking crap about him charging kids for basketball camp. James Harden has reportedly been sued by Moses Malone Jr., son of the NBA Hall of Famer Moses Malone, over an incident at a Houston strip club. Malone Jr.'s lawyers alleged that Harden paid a group of people, $20,000 in cash to attack and rob him at the strip club last year. The Rocket star was angry over some Facebook comments, the ones that I've already mentioned. And a day after the post, Malone Jr. says a group of people with guns beat him up and robbed him, taking $15,000 in jewelry. How the hell did Moses Malone's son get $15,000 in jewelry? What does he do? And I'm not being like facetious. I really want to know. The 4 men involved in the attack have already been charged in the case. Malone has filed a lawsuit against the strip club and is seeking $1 million in damages. Shout out to James Harden, fam, for having some real goons around him. You know, they doing the time and ain't said nothing. Ain't no snitching. Shout out to James Harden for having some real goons around him, man, so he don't have to get his hands dirty. I salute that all the way. All right, it's the top of the hour, man. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Like I said, I want to get into some NFL stuff, some of the stuff that's going on, contracts. The running back position is so dead, and I'll tell you guys why. And it's going when you hear some of this information I'm about to give you, it's gonna blow your mind, especially if you grew up in the time that I grew up in, when it was Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders and Marcus Allen and these big time. The running back position was the glorious position. All the kids wanted to carry the ball when they was kids. If you got a kid now and he wants to carry the ball, smack him. Smack him in the mouth. Anyway, let's take a break, man. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show here on Spreaker. I'm also on the Spreaker app. Tune in, and of course, onemicwithbigmike.com. Text your comments and questions to 404-902-8104.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel? Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
One Mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One Mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One Mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Yeah, man, get ready to get on over the rest of this hump here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. It is, wow, frog just jumped in my mouth. It is also a Woman Crush Wednesday here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Today's Woman Crush Wednesday. Her handle is _the BLEU on Instagram. Out of the blue, spelled OUTOF_THEBLEU. Don't forget, the show is also available for your listening. All my shows are available on demand on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, onemicwithbigmike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to my iTunes, TuneIn, iHeart, all my different outlets. Make sure you guys subscribe and hook your brother up. You know what I mean? Tell your friends, man. Tell your friends and tell a friend about, this One Mic with Big Mike show thing I'm doing here, man. If you enjoy it or even if you hate it, you know what I'm saying? It's a different taste for everybody. It's all good. Tell your people about it, man. Spread the word. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a damn friend. I mentioned in the last segment, coming out of the break, that the name Michael was dying. Another name that's dying is the name Caitlyn. and they're drawing some I guess parallels to one Caitlyn Jenner since she took on the moniker of Caitlyn. The name has gone down in popularity according to the Social Security Administration's annual list of the most popular baby names. The name Caitlyn and its variations plummeted in popularity more than any other baby name in 2016, the year after Caitlyn Jenner publicly unveiled her new name on the cover of Vanity Fair. In fact, the 4 names that had the most significant drops was Caitlyn, Caitlin, Caitlin, Caitlyn, Caitlyn, Katetellynn, and Caitlyn, again, Kaitlynn. They all fell out of the top 1,000. Damn, y'all hate transgender people that damn bad? The number one names as of 2015, 2016 for a boy, Noah. Strong name. I think that's what shout out to Russell Westbrook. If I'm not mistaken, that's what he named his baby boy, his brand new baby boy, named Noah. The top 5, Noah, Liam, William, Mason. Mason's a strong ass name, ain't it? And James coming in at number 5. For the girls, Emma, Olivia, Ava, AVA, Sophia, and Isabella. So if you want your baby to get a job and get called back for that second interview or for the first interview, those are the names you probably want to hook them up with. You know what I mean? All right, now to the world of the NFL. Shout out to Michael Bennett. I mentioned it in the first segment, but shout out to Michael Bennett. He's co-signing his man Colin Kaepernick coming to the Seahawks, saying this would be a perfect place for him. You know what I mean? The only problem is, it's like sometimes you gotta check the messenger because, like, as much as I'm all about the Michael Bennett and his brother Martellus Bennett and everything that they do, and just the way their minds work, man. These guys, for those of you who don't know, are really about doing things that everyone else isn't doing to help their community. As far as they're not, let's just put my name on a football camp and tell kids how cool it is to play football or to be football players. Nah, they want to teach kids art, music, like directing movies and things of that nature, writing, creative writing and things like that. So big shout to them. The other thing about them dudes are, man, they just mad outspoken, man. So it almost feels like, for a dude like Michael Bennett, like, bring Colin Kaepernick in here and watch us get buck. I'm all about that life, by the way, but I just don't think it makes much of a case for the one out of those 2 dudes that don't have a gig right now. It's like, all right, yeah, we need to bring him in now. Michael Bennett says he wants him. That's for if you're a white man, even if you're as liberal as Pete Carroll and the guy who owns the team. I can't remember the Nike guy who owns the team. Even if you're as liberal as those guys, like, at some point you kind of like just pause and be like, all right, we can handle Mike. And Colin Kaepernick ain't gonna go in there and start no crap. You know, he's gonna be the backup quarterback to a Pro Bowl quarterback. But it's just like I said, the way them boys' minds work, it'll be more to it than it is. You know what I mean? But shout out to him, man, for actually going to bat for a dude, man, and saying this dude needs a job. And it's like a perfect fit. I agree with him on it being a perfect fit because, again, like I mentioned on Monday, you got Trayvon Boykin and some other undrafted rookie as your quarterback, your backup quarterback. Good luck. Of course, Russell Wilson, people tout him as this reliable, indestructible guy. But Russell Wilson, if you remember correctly, he struggled throughout the beginning of last season because he was so banged up early in the season. So, you know, having a credible NFL caliber quarterback backing him up, and that also plays the same style of football he plays, it's not a bad thing, and it's kind of a no-brainer. And I get, you know, of course, you got to take physicals into account. You got to take the money. You know, what kind of money is Colin Kaepernick going to demand and all those things. His market ain't that high, so you can lowball the hell out of him. You know what I mean? If you want to keep it real, you can lowball the hell out of him because it ain't like he don't like, yeah, let me leverage this deal against the many others that I have. There are no many others. And there probably isn't a better landing spot for you, especially when it comes down to just a coach allowing you to be you and do the thing that you want to do. All right, so let's talk about the running backs. This is where I wanted to start. Just let me make sure I'm at the right point in my notes. I'm trying to do a better job of sticking to it's not a script, but my bullet points here. All right. So I was thinking today about the running back situation in the NFL. And this is something that, for years and years and years, everybody's kind of been waiting on the running back position to have a rebirth, right? Charles Davis a couple of years ago when Todd Gurley and Melvin Gordon came out, 2 first-round running backs. I think me and him tweeted back and forth a couple of times about the renaissance of the running back position. And I was like, hold on. Like, as much as I loved watching Todd Gurley play football at Georgia, in the NFL, you're still a running back, dude. Your position is just so it's so devalued. You know what I mean? So you guys remember I talked about Eddie Lacy on Monday. If you don't remember, Eddie Lacy has weight clauses in his contract, and he made weight by 2 pounds and was able to collect $55,000. And I don't want you to really focus on that. It's just the fact that that's his contract. Eddie Lacy is a 2nd-round draft pick out of Alabama and an effective NFL running back. The most he can scrape up is a 1-year deal on a team that don't really have a running game, by the way. He scraped up a 1-year deal with a bunch of incentives involved, including weight incentives. So you say, all right, Mike, what if that's just an outlier or something? I'm glad you asked. Adrian effing Peterson, the standard bearer at the running back position for the last decade in the NFL. Another guy, 1-year deal with a bad football team, the Saints. And when I start reading these, how his contract breaks down, like the bonuses in his contract break down, like these cats are on some pay for play type deals. These running backs, he can earn additional money to the contract he's already under. If he rushes for 750 yards or more, he gets $150,000. If he reaches the 1,000 mark plateau, he gets another $250,000. You can't defend this team, I am no those. It is what it is. It's a bad football team. What you want me to say? You know what I mean? Like, I ain't say I hate the team, but you're right. F me. I don't hate them. They're just a bad football team. They have been for the last couple of years. He can get 1,250. If he can get to 1,250 yards, it's another 750,000 bones. If he can find his way to like 3 years ago when he cracked that 1,500 yard mark, so you get a cool $1 million for running for 1,500 yards. I don't know how the hell that's going to happen. You probably have to murder Drew Brees and kill also Mark Ingram for that to happen. And it still might not, because then you don't have a quarterback, or I don't know what the offensive line situation is. Like, I know who was the kid, Matt Unger, the kid they got from Seattle. He's hurt now, but he's supposed to be ready for game 1 is what I'm understanding. Touchdowns. If he gets 6, $250,000 in the pocket. If he gets 8, he gets $500,000 in the pocket. If he gets 10 touchdowns, ladies and gentlemen, $750,000. The 10 touchdown bonus will only be paid if he also leads the league in rushing yards. See, that's so that he can't. Remember last year, they tried to screw Mark Ingram out of his damn bonus by taking him out the game on the damn 1 yard line. So what they're saying to Adrian Peterson is, you can't just get your ass in the game on the 1 yard line 10 times and walk your ass away with $750,000. Hell no. They're saying the caveat to that is he has to, at 30 whatever years old, he's got to lead the league in rushing. Yeah, ENF enjoy that. If Peterson rushes for 750 yards and the Saints make the playoffs, he gets more money for the success of the team. And finally, he has a $750,000 roster bonus that kicks in on the 3rd day of the 2018 league year, which means they will be cutting him on the 1st day of the 2018 league year. He got a 1-year deal, along with a $25,000 roster bonus for each game. So he get money to be on the team each game, just in case they want to cut him after game 6 or whatever. They can save some bread. These are bogus ass contracts, dude. These NFL contracts are so weak and bogus, man. These cats, they just got to scrape up whatever they can get. Now, I'm not calling like, you know, $750,000 or $1 million scrapings, but this is Adrian Peterson. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm putting it into that context. And then he got another bonus. Last bonus, $73,500 each week. He's on the 53-man roster. So his whole deal basically is just him as a total performance deal. How the mighty have fallen. That's crap, man. And today, LeGarrette Blount, he leaves New England, takes his 18 touchdowns with him, and goes to Philadelphia on a 1-year deal. And I don't think I have the details of the LeGarrette Blount deal. I forgot to save him. But it's like something like $1.2 million for a year, which means it's really, they can cut him at any time depending on how much of the guaranteed money they're willing to lose or they'll be on the hook for, which it can't be that much because it's a 1-year deal. And I doubt it's fully guaranteed. He's got some incentives in it as well that'll take him over another platform, another plateau, like 1.5 million. But again, it's a 1-year deal. And remember now, he was in negotiations with the Patriots. So if that's what he can get from the Phillies, not the Phillies, I'm sorry, the Eagles. If that's what he can get from the Philadelphia Eagles, what the hell was Belichick them trying to get this cat? Like, yeah, you can come on in here for the league minimum, cuz you can ride out with us again and possibly get another ring, man. 800, 900 grand. We'll do that. That dude was like, man, hell no. I'm about to bounce. Plus, you know what I mean? Like, he liking him in Pennsylvania, apparently, because that's when him and Le'Veon got that damn, that weed beef as well. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. on Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. Spreaker also has an app that's available on in your app store. Make sure you download it. Sign up for your free Spreaker accounts. Sign up, then follow my show, One Mic with Big Mike, and it'll give you an alert every time the show goes live. Like I mentioned, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 7. I'm also on the TuneIn app, and of course, OneMicWithBigMike.com. You can also catch the show streaming live video if you want one of those lookers and watchers. I'm on the Facebook Live right now at One Mic with Big Mike on Facebook. Text me at 404-902-8104, or you can leave your comments and questions below the video, or jump inside my live interactive chat room by clicking that little thought bubble icon you see on the streaming player if you're listening via Spreaker. And you can get on up in here. All right, now let's move on to right here in the ATL. My man, Devontae Freeman out of Florida State, one of the Miami boys, right? He's got 1 year left on the deal, and he says he wants to be paid like a premier running back. I don't know what the hell that means now, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Let's kind of put it into a little bit of context, though. You know, that's the magic word for this segment: context. Amongst last year's leading rushers, ESPN broke down how much money they make per yard. LaShawn McCoy makes almost 10 grand per yard that he rushes for. He's the number one in the league. He led the league in rushing. Did LaShawn McCoy lead the league in rushing? Huh. That don't seem right. I mean, he had a couple good games. I remember coming down the stretch, but it felt like he got hurt twice during whatever. Devontae Freeman is number 2 on this list. He made a cool $520. I didn't say $1,000, $520 per carry. Again, to put it in context, Frank Gore at number 3 earned $4,267 per yard. Todd Gurley on his rookie deal. Shout out to Todd, man. Todd Gurley the third, $4,927, and DeMarco Murray made 7,893 yards per rush. So everybody made at least, I don't know, $4 grand more than Devontae Freeman if you break it down per rushing yard last year. And he need money. And the dude, he's trying to do this high road thing where he's not going to hold out. Here's the deal. He can't hold out. There is no holdout room for Devontae Freeman. They drafted a running back, one. Also, Devontae Freeman was drafted by the previous regime, the Mike Smith regime. So he's their guy. Guess who got drafted by this current Dan Quinn regime? Yeah, that would be Tevin Coleman, the other running back that has 2 years left on his deal. So while I know Devontae wants to be like, yeah, I'm going to play ball, I'm going to show up for camp, you have to. That's why you're going to show up. Because in the NFL, the only leverage you have is your service. And they've leveraged you out of that by putting a guy behind you. And let's keep it real. I'm going to consider Tevin Coleman to be in front of Devontae Freeman at this point. Because now, with the risk of with you risking losing him without signing him, why not go with your guy? Let's not forget this, by the way. In the first year of the Dan Quinn regime, Tevin Coleman was the starter and got hurt. And then Devontae Freeman was like, I got to get my stuff together. And then he came in and ran like a bat out of hell, and you couldn't get him off the field. But let's not forget, the initial plan was for Tevin Coleman and his breakaway speed to be the starting running back for the Atlanta Falcons. So earlier, I am Nodo's mentioned, he said something about the internet being angry. I don't know about that, you know what I mean? But I posted this. Posted this story. Devontae Freeman says he wants, quote unquote, to be elite paid with his Falcons extension. The Falcons like, what the hell that mean? My homie Peter Quill, he chimed in and said, I think with that being said, he got faith they're gonna get him paid next year, regardless. This is the NFL, dude. Ain't no faith. Do you just hear me say what Adrian Peterson got? And I think Adrian Peterson's over the hill, by the way. LeGarrette Blount, coming off of 18 touchdowns on a team that don't run the football. 18, dog. 18 touchdowns. They was like, you know what? You play running back. Get your ass out of here. We'll get a new one. We'll get another guy in here and do some work with him. We don't care. That's crazy, dude. What's Latavius Murray? They was like, get out of here. They brought Marshawn Lynch back, of course, but he's a mascot. He's an Oakland mascot, essentially. And if they can get 500 to 700 yards out of him, they win. The Raiders, I mean. Marshawn Lynch ain't here to do no damn real work. Let's be real. His last year in Seattle, he ain't do no real work. That dude is the dude who said his running style is quote unquote, run through a MFer's face. Yeah, you can't do that for too long. I don't care how tough you are. These is grown men, and you can't do that over and over and over again. Matt, my guy, I am Mr. What was his name? East Point made me. That was his old account. My man East Point made me. He's in the chat room a lot. He says Sanu is making $7 million a year. Free got to get more than Sanu. Wrong. There's no way in ghastly hell that you paying Devontae Freeman more than the dude that catches the football. Hell no. There's no, especially when you've already got his replacement on the squad. Like Mohamed Sanu was in a good place because wide receivers were getting paid. Julio and all the top tier guys, right? They set the table. Julio and AJ and Dez, all those dudes set the table for the second tier guys like Mohamed Sanu and Marvin Jones and guys like that to get paid $7 million a year. There's no one setting the table at the running back position. Everyone has the same attitude. I'm going to get me one in the draft, run his ass into the ground, and then go back to the store and get me another one. That's what the running back position has become. Eddie Lacy, Adrian Peterson, LeGarrette Blount, Latavius Murray. You know what I mean? That's what the running back position is now. I know all these folks, they got this thing in their mind down here. Hashtag brotherhood. No damn brotherhood, man. All these dudes are individual companies. They got to get their money. And the NFL is making it so hard to get their money. I saw another article today that's so awesome. Before I get to that, I want to ask you guys one question. If you can hear the sound of my voice, I want you guys to take a minute and hear me out on something. If I was a college running back, and I know this is one of the hardest things to kind of put into perspective. You know how we were talking about with Todd Gurley and Leonard Fournette, kind of insinuated. We even talked about it with Jadeveon Clowney, just not playing their final year since the NFL makes you wait 3 years out of college or out of high school to be able to enter the NFL draft. I figure if I'm a running back, I show up on campus. I don't care how highly recruited I am. 5-star, all that stuff. I'm redshirting my first year. I'm not taking no extra carries if I don't have to. If you're going to make me stay for 3 years, yeah, I'm not playing the first year. Hell no. If I got to be here anyway, I'm going to be like, you know what? F this. I'm a redshirt this front. I'm just going to do it on the front end rather than on the back end, because that don't really make sense in not playing before you be about to go play professionally. I'll just take it on the back end, play my 2 years, and bounce. I'm out. Let me know what you guys think about that, man. 404-902-8104. You can text them there. You can jump inside the live interactive chat room and do it there as well. I was talking about these NFL contracts, just how weird and wild they are. And now they about to get even worse. Like, the NFL is a freaking Gestapo, man. They like the mob, dude. Every time you turn around, they talk about how we care about the players. And at every turn, they trying to jip them out of money. They trying to not to pay dudes. Like my man I am no was saying, I wouldn't even want to play running back. Exactly. If you have a child and your child's like, you know what, I want to play running back, daddy, you just punch him in the chest as hard as you can. You either throw the ball or be able to tackle the guy who's throwing the football or intercept the guy who's throwing the football. Be one of those three and then work your way down. Even now, you know who's getting paid now? Offensive linemen. The Raiders have the highest paid offensive line in the league. The Dallas Cowboys are going to have to cough up money too, because they got a bunch of young ones. They started extending them, but they're going to have to cough up some money. The Titans as well. Titans got a nice offensive line too, but they young and they good. But you're going to have to start paying them. And we're going to see that price point go up as the running back price point goes down. Because think about it. If I got a good line, I can put any jack off back there to run the football. Can you pass protect on 3rd and 9? Can you pick up the blitz? Fine. Come on over here and average a 2.3 yards a carry, and I'm good with you. We all right. We're going to do things. Major things. Anyway, before this segment is over, and I tell you guys about what's happening with these NFL contracts. I want to always try to make sure I keep you guys up to speed on the business side of the sport that you're watching, because so many people don't understand that plays a part in your favorite players sticking around or how good your team is going to be in a particular year versus what they were last year and so forth and so on. So this offseason, there's an increasing proliferation of injury splits. You say, what is that? Okay, I'll explain here in a second. Injury splits, per game roster bonuses, a profusion of 1-year deals, already went there, and guarantees that somehow void themselves automatically. So when you hear somebody's contract get announced and they say, well, he's guaranteed this amount of money. Well, yeah, they've got bombs in the contracts that will allow your guaranteed quote unquote money to void automatically. This is the type of stuff these cats are on. You go out there bashing your brain in, and we'll talk about concussions here in the next segment. And one of the most popular players, maybe the best of all time at this position, and what his wifey had to say. So this from Andrew Brandt of the Monday Morning Quarterback, Peter King's site. Teams are negotiating language that voids future guarantees, not only for suspensions but also for fine. The problem with that is the NFL ain't the only, the league isn't the only entity that fines players. The team can fine a player for anything. You're late to a meeting, or something else happens in your personal life. They can fine these cats for anything. And some of these contracts are going to start having language in them that will void like millions of dollars of guaranteed money because you got fined, not suspended, but fined. On the field stuff, a late hit or something, get an envelope on Monday, fined. Contract voided, guaranteed money voided. That's so whack. Now, when you hear the guaranteed money, it's also it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's paid out over time. They don't get like a $10 million lump sum check. And here's the part about that's also real slimy and skeevy. The league rules mandate that fully guaranteed money is put into an escrow. So by the team staggering your payments out to you, they also collect interest on your money. So it's essentially, it's like you're giving them, or they're they're loaning you your money because it's sitting there in an account and it's just collecting interest that they're not paying to the players. Tell you, man, Gestapo type stuff, man. It's just like, it's like mafia type tactics, man. Like y'all love to talk about this guy ain't worth this amount of money. Well, chances are he won't make that amount. Whatever amount that you're mad about, if it's a football player, yeah, he won't make that money. The NFL has so many different avenues and so many ways to gyp you out of your money. Roster bonuses. You have to be on the roster at this point in time. Or you have to make the 53-man roster this many times and all this kind of craziness. Yeah. Yeah, it's real, man. Don't get fooled by the large numbers you see on ESPN. All right, let's take a break. I want to come back. I want to talk about everybody's favorite quarterback, him and his wifey. And I'll do that next right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show, heard live on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, and, of course, One Mic with BigMike.com. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter and Instagram at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? When a tornado is tearing through town? Or a hurricane strikes? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. And it's not always as simple as using your cell phone. That's why now is the time to take action. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go!
You're almost there, man. Almost over this hump. Right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. All right, so I want you guys to listen to something. I want you to hear Tom Brady's wife, Gisele Bündchen. Is that her name? Gisele? Talk about the stuff that Tom goes through during the season, all this kind of stuff that the NFL ain't trying to hear. Here's Gisele Bündchen. I guess she was on Good Morning America, one of those morning shows this morning.
As you know, it's not the most let's say, an aggressive sport, right? Football, like he had a concussion last year. I mean, he has concussions pretty much. I mean, we don't talk about, but he does have concussions, and I don't really think it's a healthy thing for your body to go through through that kind of aggression, like all the time. That could not be healthy for you, right? And I'm planning on having him be healthy and do a lot of fun things when we're like 100, I hope.
Ruh-roh. This damn wifey is just letting the cat out the bag, like the most celebrated quarterback in the NFL, the most decorated quarterback of all time, him and Joe Montana. Now all of a sudden his wife is like, yeah, man, he be getting his damn block knocked the hell off at every turn. he's gonna be a vegetable by next week. You know what I mean? This the man is like he wants to play till he's to what? He's 45, he says. To his mid-40s, I think was his exact words. Yeah, dude. The NFL ain't trying to hear this. They ain't no parts of this registering with their safer game initiatives and all these dumbass things. They try to take advantage of people. I posted something. They try to take advantage of people with them. I posted something the other day about this new helmet that they're coming out with. They've got people designing new helmets to help reduce concussion. And all that is, man, it's a play. It's a play on people's ignorance, and the ignorance of not even just the ignorance, partially the ignorance, but the concern that parents have for their children. You know what I mean? Especially like these moms, single moms, a lot of times that are signing their kids up for football because a lot of times they feel like that's, I want my son to be tough. I want him to, this will help him get toughened up. But these moms are also getting more educated. And with that education comes a certain amount of paranoia. You know what I mean? Because as a parent, you don't want to feel like you're the one that's putting your kid through something that may affect him later on in life to his brain. You know what I mean? Like that's something that you don't really fix that once it happens. So the way this article is entitled, it's on my Facebook page. If you guys want to check it out, go to at One Mic with Big Mike, the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE on Facebook. Let me say it in English. The safest helmet in football is set to make its NFL debut next season. Oh, really now? The safest helmet. Apparently, it's pliable. It features a pliable outer layer and an impact absorbing core layer that concussions. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about concussions, but that's not the word. That cushions the wearer's head against violent collisions. All for the most part, while maintaining the look and shape of the classic helmet. So it's a softer kind of helmet, but it's made out of some material that absorbs shock. Here's the thing, and I want people, if you got kids, man, you need to know this, that's not going to help your child or any of these players who trot these helmets out next year. It's not going to help them avoid concussions. The concussion happens when the brain, which is inside the skull, by the way, slams up against the walls, the inner walls of the skull. That's where concussions come from. There is nothing that protects your skull, your brain inside your skull. It's just it's like jello floating around in water or in like brain fluid in your head. But they'll want to tell you that these things will help when they won't. It won't. And even if it does, it'll be so marginal. You know what I mean? Here's the reality of it is the game is what it is. And if you start putting together new helmets and people start getting a false sense of security, not even a false, it may be a real sense of security. The first time you hit somebody head on with this helmet, you may be like, the person wearing it may be like, wow, barely felt that. That doesn't mean your brain didn't jiggle around in your helmet or in your skull. You know what I mean? So you give a guy that peace of mind, false as it may be, that I can just bang somebody with this helmet. You know what's going to happen? More people are going to use their helmets to hit people. And you'll get more concussions. The NFL, man, they on some real skeevy ass stuff, man. And it's not even cool because all they're trying to do is maintain the supply of their workforce, which for the most part, look at what we're talking about. And what it's going to continue to be into the future is disenfranchised black kids who feel as though this is their way out of a bad situation. You know what I mean? If you got suburban white kids, their parents going to be like, nope, Joey's playing soccer this year, or Joey's playing flag football. He's not ever hitting another human being with his head. No, we ain't going to worry about that. Now, meanwhile, there are like hella youth concussions in soccer because they even outlawed hitting the soccer ball for that exact reason, because it could cause it could end up causing what they call a subconcussive blow, which is not something that, it's not the concussion that knocks you out. Oh, look at LeBron. It's not something that knocks you out. But yet, like I said, your brain, it jiggled in your skull. It moved. It slammed up against the wall of your skull, man. And there is nothing that can prevent that from happening. And as long as the NFL is going to continue to be allowed to lie to people about that, it's going to just be a bad situation. Where am I at? All right, let's move on to another former living person and former Patriot. The Aaron Hernandez story continues. His old lady, I guess she was on Uncle Phil. She was on Dr. Phil. And she says that he wasn't gay, as far as she knows. Operative words and phrasing being, as far as you know. You know, that dude was doing an L, dude, with no parole. I don't know what happens to cats when, you know what I'm saying, you go to the Bing and, you know, I just know what my man Fleece said. Like, he's never had anybody tell him no. He told him, gave him a choice, easy way or the hard way. Never had a problem. So, you know, and I'm assuming some of those guys may have been tougher than Aaron Hernandez. The other news that came out from that interview, she's saying, you remember we heard about the 3 letters. And one was supposedly to her from Aaron Hernandez, suicide notes. One was to his old lady. The other was to his daughter. And the third one was supposedly to his gay prison lover. She got on Dr. Phil and was like, nah, it ain't go down like that. The other letter was to his lawyer, I guess, you know what I mean? But that seems kind of weird. Like, that wouldn't be... That's a big difference, you know, especially because my man, the gay lover, the prison lover, he's on some like I want my letter type stuff. He's like getting his lawyer to try to go after the property that he's claiming is his because that was his man in the joint, and now he's dead. He killed himself. The other development from this story is that what am I trying to say? The murder conviction is out the window because he killed himself while the case was in appeal. So he's officially not a murderer, which will allow his wifey to collect possibly $6 million from the Patriots, $6 million of his money that they were withholding because he was a convicted felon or whatever. And I guess those type of things are in the contracts too. Problem with that is there's going to be I don't know if it's already happened. I think I heard that it's already happened. The wrongful death suit that Odin Lloyd's mom filed against the estate of Aaron Hernandez may be due some of that money. And the problem is now is that no money had been awarded from the wrongful death. But now she's about to get $6 million. Odin Lloyd's mama said she wanted it all. Let's go. You killed my son. I don't give a damn about you killing yourself. That's real talking. I don't blame her. I'd be the same way. Give me all the $6 million plus whatever else you got. Them shoes off your feet, son. You know what I mean? All that. More NFL news. The painkiller lawsuit that some players had filed against the league. We've talked about this a little bit here on the show. How the DEA was coming after the Falcons because they on planes passing out, you know what I mean, Vicodins like the M&Ms and Skittles, getting cats hooked on dope. Meanwhile, your man Josh Gordon apparently lost all his money. He had no more money. He need to get back in the league, and they won't let him back in the league because my man likes to partake in the stickiest of the icky. Funny how that works, right? If he was hooked on Vicodin that the trainers gave him, it would be all good. He'd be on the field putting up them 1,000-yard seasons like he was doing a couple of years ago. But because he liked that herb, he don't deserve to be in this league. Freaking hypocrites. God. So anyway, this lawsuit that I was talking about, this painkiller lawsuit, Judge William Alsup dismissed most of the legal claims made against the league's 32 teams for allegedly dispensing painkillers to players. It's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo in this. So I sent this article to my man, Steve Silver. Hopefully he gets back to me and tells me what all this means. Like, how can they just, like, there's so many things that are going on with them being investigated, the DEA, like I mentioned, for it to just be dismissed. It seems like these cats have a pretty good damn case. If they had like pain pills in a bowl and cats is on airplanes and stuff, they just passing out these pain pills. It seems like they would have a decent ass case, but the law is what it is. I mean, it's like it's the law, and it's America, and it's mainly black dudes, so it's a problem, and you can't get no damn justice. Yada 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 yada. You know what I mean? The owners have their meetings next week, I think, in Chicago. They're looking to shorten the overtime period from 15 to 10 minutes. I don't know what all that's about. I can't say that I necessarily care either way. I don't know how many, maybe I should have looked this up earlier, how many overtime games we see on average a year. You know what I mean? And games ending in ties and all that rigmarole and whatever. There was another thing that they were supposed to be discussing as well. Oh, roster numbers, upping the amount of guys that can come back from injury reserve. Right now, it's 1 that you can designate to return off injury reserve, and they want to bump it up to 2, and I'll possibly take the game day roster from 46 active, or 46 or 48 active, to the full 53 active, and then some more players. So those are the things that'll be discussed next week at the players, or not, excuse me, the owners meeting. I think I got like 1 or 2 last things that I wanted to. Oh, this is crazy as hell. Okay, in the midst of all these firings at ESPN, one of the people that got fired, her name is Sarah Walsh. You probably know her. She used to do like football stuff, and also I think she did some Sports Center stuff or whatever. Also, the Mike and Mike show is breaking up. That's all out the window. What's Reggie saying? Reggie's in the chat room. With all the medicinal uses marijuana, you would think they would start bending on this. Here's the thing. They know it. You heard Jerry Jones, Reggie. You heard Jerry Jones say that he wants the NFL to be more lenient with the weed policy. They've upped the threshold, because before we had a dude on the show that I was producing when I was on radio here in Atlanta. That dude said that the NFL's initial, before they adjusted the thresholds, the level of weed in your system to be in the NFL, you could still fly a fighter jet. You could still be an Olympic athlete. Like all these other places, like flying a fighter jet, you could have more weed in your system than an NFL player. Of course, the common sense was to slide it and move it, but I still don't think they moved it far enough. And also, the other part of the NFL, because there's such a dirty, skeevy business, something can't happen on their end without something happening on the player's end. So, like, they'll hold this thing and know that all this medical research is out there. Meanwhile, they're not putting any money into it. It's an herb, it's a plant that, because of how it's scheduled by the government, they can't use federal funds to study it for medicinal uses. So all the studies that you hear about when it comes to marijuana, they're done privately. Private people's money. Now, who got more money than the NFL? I don't know. That's why my man Eugene Monroe, you've heard Sean Smith on this show. You guys remember Sean Smith, my man who used to smoke before the games and played 10 years in the league. I love that dude, man. Like, if you can see some of the DMs that go back and forth between me and him sometimes, it's freaking hilarious stuff, man. And I'm not telling you guys what they are, because when it's in the DM, he's not doing it, and like, you know what I mean, and like for Twitter for everybody to see. So I'm assuming that it's not for everybody. But yeah, he's a nut. But he did come on my show and say that he used to smoke before the game, like right before the game, cuz. So yeah, these guys like him, Eugene Monroe's putting a lot of money into the medicinal, in English, research of the plant. But the NFL, they gonna show up in 3 years now, 2020 or 2021, when the new CBA is to be signed, when there's a new collective bargaining agreement that has to be come to, and they're gonna put that on the table. Right, they're going to put on the table, okay, you guys want NBA style weed testing, because the NBA don't care. Like, maybe like once every 3 years, some dude gets popped for weed in the NBA. No one cares. And they smoke. All right. Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson talked about smoking before the games and being paranoid sitting over on the bench. Yeah. But what they're going to want is something in return from the players. You know what I mean? You can't just, like, these cats just can't do the right thing. They have to be able to, excuse the expression, rape the players in some way to get something off of them, to allow them to medicate with marijuana. So Jerry Jones is going to get his way. But all these billionaires, like with any NFL labor dispute, the league always wins, because there is no unity in the players' union. They got the worst union in all of pro sports. Basketball got the best one, and Major League Baseball is pretty good too. As you see, cats getting paid $250 million contracts, guaranteed money. Meanwhile, the NFL, instead of trending towards the guaranteed money, they're going in the other way. They're like, yeah, we'll call it guaranteed, but yeah, wait till you get fined by the team and you look at your next pay stub. It's going to be shout like a mup. You know what I mean? God, that's so terrible. And we're all complicit, dude, because we're so addicted to it. This is the reason they're able to have a 12-month NFL season on us, because we can't get enough of it, even though we know it's terrible. Every dude that we're watching on that football field on Sunday is killing himself a little bit for us and for a large check. I don't want to put that to the side. But yeah, this is happening. You're watching dudes die a little bit every Sunday and Saturday. And in the college, they're doing it for free. Imagine that. Shoot. So anyway, what I was moving on to before I get out of here, because I got to watch this basketball game, man. I got some work to do. Have I told you how much I hate Negroes, man, doing business with Negroes, man? Like, I'm saying that as a blanket statement, man. Because you MFers, man, golly. When it come to your brothers, quote unquote, hey man, I need you to cut me a deal on so and so. What can you do for me? Nothing. I can do the job. That's it. I'm not on work release, cuz. And then when your black ass pay me, now you feel like you can badger me about the work. Don't work like that. I get paid up front for that specific reason. 15 years, man. I've been dealing with Negroes, club promoters and concert promoters that think they know what I do better than I know how to do it. And be mad. You know what I mean? Be getting mad and disappointed when I stop returning texts. At some point, I gotta stop caring. Like, you know my work. This dude told me the other day, he was like, yeah, man, I got the commercial. He's texting me, I got the commercial. It sounds kind of boring. Oh, really? Then why did you call me, dude? Like, you know what I do. You know what it sounds like. It just sounds boring. All right. I understand. It probably wouldn't have sounded boring had I charged you $50 less, though. It probably would have been on point. You God. Anyway. Let me leave y'all on this, man. So the ESPN firings a couple of weeks ago, you know, the Armageddon that went through ESPN, people got fired, like 100 people. One of those people was Sarah Walsh. Who she is not as important as her story, man. Like, all these people are telling their stories after it's over, and it's not like a story against ESPN, although they did fire her the day. This is awesome. They fired her the day she was supposed to come back off of maternity leave. Shout out to them for that. We don't give a damn about your babies. None of that. And all you had to go through to have the babies. Oh, you say, Mike, what did she have to go through? I'm glad you asked. So apparently she has twins. She just had twins. So shout out to her for that, replenishing the earth. But she had to have some sort of procedure because she had a couple of miscarriages. So they had taken these 2 eggs from her body, and these were like the only 2 eggs she had. And if it didn't work this time, she wouldn't have a baby. And I know you heard me say this time. I'm going to tell you why I said this time. This broad had multiple miscarriages. Well, you say, Mike, broads have miscarriages all the time. On TV. While she was doing her gig, she had multiple miscarriages, man. Like, I don't know enough about, like, the female reproductive situation. Like, the way my mind envisions a miscarriage, it's like blood and goo and all that kind of stuff involved. I don't think this was the case in her situation, but that's just the way my mind kind of materializes it. So she tells the story. She's on the road too. It's not even like she's in the studio. This broad is doing Sports Center before an Alabama game in Tuscaloosa. She says, I arrived in Tuscaloosa almost 3 months pregnant. I wouldn't return the same way. The juxtaposition of college kids going nuts behind our set while I was losing a baby. was surreal. My God. How do you fire this person? I guess they might not have known, though, right? She says, I was scared. No one knew I was pregnant, so I did the show while having a miscarriage. Again, I don't know what that entails, but it sounds horrifying. My husband had to watch. Oh, God. My husband had to watch this unfold for more than 1,000 miles away, texting me hospital options during the commercial breaks. Man, this is something that we couldn't pull this off, bruhs. Like, women, the strength of women to be able to do that. Like, I'm gonna finish like they used to talk about like slave women just have the slave. What am I saying? Have their babies like while they picking the cotton and then just go right back to picking it. It's like just like that kind of stuff. She's on TV doing a live show with screaming drunk-ass co-eds behind her. Meanwhile, a life is being drained from her body. What? Then she says there were 2 more failed pregnancies. More than once. She'd have surgery one day and be on Sports Center the next goddamn day. So she didn't draw attention to her situation. Like, this is the state of this country. This is a microcosm of this country, man. We got all these white old ass men making these type of these laws about women's bodies with no women in the room. No one under the age of 90 in the room. So this woman feels like in order to secure her spot in this male dominated field, she got to go have a miscarriage, one while on the air, have surgery one day. And I'm guessing when she says surgery, she means like to get the pregnancy, and then go back to work the next day and be on TV and smiling and carrying on like nothing happened. God, man, like you guys have heard me say this enough on this show. The world hates women, man. This country, the world hates women, man. Because something like that shouldn't be a thing. This woman should be as confident as any man in saying, look, man, something horrible just happened. I can't come to work today. And be all right with the fact that her position will still be hers when she's done dealing with a very, very personal and very, very traumatic situation. But that ain't the case. And she knows it. So she got to sit there on TV and tell you guys what the Alabama defense is going to look like in this game while her child is leaving her body, or however it happens. I'm not sure. It just feels like that's how it happens. You know what I mean? Like stuff is like running down your leg. I don't want to get too graphic, but you understand what I'm saying. My mind is just on some like gruesome, like Freddy Krueger movie type. Shout out to her, man. That's all I can say, really, man. Just shout out to her for that, man, because that's horrible, man. That's freaking God. ESPN fired her. Like she's dealing with the happiest moments of her life. She finally was able to conceive 2 babies. That if it didn't work, it was gonna be done. Those were her last 2 good eggs, man, and it happened to work out for through some in vitro type situation. And the day she's supposed to go back to work at ESPN, they was like, yeah. We're going to go ahead and just send your stuff to you. No need to come into the office anymore. At all. God damn, man. All right, anyway, I think that's over. I got some other stuff here. I got some stuff about this dude that set himself on fire. I'll save it for Friday. Yeah, I'll save it for Friday. Also, on Friday, I'll tell you guys the reason that pounds, like 25 pounds, why it's abbreviated LBS. This is something that I didn't know till today. And it seems stupid to me that America is not on the metric system, that everything is like tens and hundreds and all that kind of stuff. See, I don't have enough time to deal with that. And you, Reggie, he's saying that playing the flip side, some women need two or 3 days off a month for their period. Reggie, we're not talking about sex. We're talking about work. And your woman deserves to be off. And if you still want her to do those nasty things to you while she's bleeding from her cooch, you're a nasty bastard. I'm just going to say that right now, dude. You're the nasty bastard. That's not her problem. That's your problem. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Let me get the hell out of here so I can go watch some basketball and finish this damn work for this punk ass dude, man. Oh, man. Did I not start the music? All right, Reg, appreciate you, brother. Ain't nobody took no damn days off of work for no period. Well, I ain't gonna say that because sometimes, you know, if a chick, chicks have like bad, like early, the early days cramping and all that kind of stuff. But I still don't believe your ass. You talking about no damn work? I don't believe you, dog. Anyway, man, that's going to do it for the Hump Day edition of the One Mic with Big Mike show. Shout out to everybody who checked in on Facebook. My man, I am No Doze Red. Appreciate you guys, man, here in the chat room here. Don't forget the show is available. One Mic with Big Mike. If you missed any of it, check it out on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, OneMicWithBigMike.com. Make sure you sign up for your free Spreaker accounts as well. And after you do that, follow my show, One Mic with Big Mike. Also on demand at iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Like the Facebook page at One Mic with Big Mike. The live stream will be up for the next couple of days at the top of my page so that you can see it if you missed any of it. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the number one MICWITHBIGMIKE. That's gonna do it, man. See you guys on Friday, and don't forget, all you need is one mic.